Episode 10, Tourist Trapped. This episode was so cool, and it was a great way to start off the show. It introduced all of the characters pretty much, and Dipper was narrating it, so you could already connect with one of the most popular characters on the show. Episode 9, Double Dipper. I really like this episode because it has a cool concept. Dipper is planning to, get Wendy's attention at the little party that Stan's having, and he finds the copier and starts cloning himself. This was a really creative episode, and Alex Hirsch did a great job of developing it. And I've always liked this episode, and I can watch it over and over again without getting bored. Episode 8, Boss Mabel. This episode is absolutely hilarious. It's just funny because, Stan bets that Mabel can't be a better boss than him, and she thinks she can be a better boss than him. And so they have this little dispute, and Stan goes off to play that Jeopardy-like game where he gets money, and then Mabel, is the boss at the store, and all of the employees, quote, quote, like her, and only because she pays them way too much, she puts in a ton of nice things and lets them do whatever they want practically. I just find it hilarious, and I think pretty much everyone likes this episode. It's very funny. Episode 7, Carpe Diem. First of all, this is a play on words for Carpe Diem, which is very funny. Alex Hirsch is very clever, and I just love this concept. I think this was for like a Halloween episode, but I like it a lot because, they switch bodies, the stereotypical, but Alex Hirsch definitely does a good job of putting Dipper in Mabel's body and Mabel in Dipper's body, and you can definitely tell they're in the wrong body. And so when Stan talks to Dipper, which is really Mabel, about puberty, it's just hilarious. I love that part. And then when all four of them that are in this picture switch bodies, that's hilarious. It also gives us a little bit of insight into Stan's brother. Just gives us little hints here and there. That's what I like about that one a lot. We kind of learn more about him, secretly, not too much, a little bit. So that was kind of exciting how Alex incorporated that into the show. I think a lot of people did like this episode, and I sure definitely did. If you haven't seen it, give it a watch. It's cool. Episode 6, Okie. This episode was so cool. The government agents were awesome in it, and, Dipper summons the zombies to prove that, it is real, all the craziness that's going on, and to conquer them, Dipper, Mabel, and Stan all come together and sing that hilarious song, and it's just great to see the family bonding in that episode, and you can really tell that Stan loves them so much, and it's just a great episode. Of course, it's another party, it's just hilarious. Seuss is great in that one, too, and if you haven't seen this one or haven't watched Gravity Falls at all, please check it out. It's really cool. Episode 5, Into the Bunker. This episode just gives us more clues and information about Stanley himself. This amazing bunker that him and Fiddleford developed, and you can definitely get more of a backstory on that if you get the Gravity Falls Journal 3 that just came out recently. But it's such a cool experience for all the characters, and they really get to learn more, especially Dipper, about the author. And it was definitely a really cool episode, as most of their Gravity Falls episodes are. Wendy gets to fight herself. Dipper and Wendy kind of talk about, that Dipper likes Wendy, but Wendy's too old for him, and she's known all this time, that kind of thing. And it's just really interesting. You definitely learn more about the characters themselves as they are kind of forced to fight these challenges that are constantly coming up, and solving more mysteries, and just learning more about Stanley in general. This is definitely one of my favorite episodes. Episode 4, Northwest Mansion Mystery. This episode was really cool. You get to learn more about Pacifica's challenges with her family and the Northwest family lifestyle and how nice they have it compared to like Grunkle Stan or Fiddleford McGucket. There's definitely history of Gravity Falls kind of mentioned in there, especially with the Northwest family and pretty much everyone. Pacifica also learns some stuff about her family that she's not too happy to hear. And at the end, she kind of breaks away from her parents and stands up for herself and helps Dipper conquer all these ghosts. And it's just a really cool episode, and everyone was rooting for Dipsifica. I can hardly say that. The ship, they were shipping them. So I personally think Dipper and Wendy should have gotten together, but that's just me. But back to the episode. It was a really great episode. It had lots and lots of detail. So thumbs up to Gravity Falls cast and Alex and just everyone who developed all these amazing episodes. Episode 3, Not What He Seems. This episode was one that we've all been waiting for. We get to learn more about Stan and definitely why he has all those fake IDs. This was a really awesome episode. Like I said, we get to learn more about Stan. The kids kind of are beginning to understand what their uncle's life was like. It's definitely an interesting episode, and you kind of, in the beginning, feel like Stan's a convict, which he was, but I think the longer he had Dipper and Mabel, the more he began to put all that stuff behind him and really mature and change and do good. And, he cares more about his family than anything now, and he wants to help the family. But it was just such a creative episode, and I'm really glad we kind of got to learn more about him. We've been wanting to for a while, and we really didn't know who he was. We could kind of guess, but not to this, extent. So this was really cool to learn more about him and see what he went through. And the kids definitely got a better understanding of their great uncle. Episode 2, A Tale of Two Stans. This is definitely one of the best Gravity Falls episodes, and it definitely was a great idea to develop. We get to learn more about Stanley and Stanford's childhood, and it's definitely really, really cool. It was just so fun to watch. It was almost a tearjerker just to see kind of what it was like when they were growing up, and especially how abusive their father was, especially towards Stanley. And, it was just an exciting journey for them, and especially when they were little kids, and it was perfect casting for the voices of them, for them when they were little. It's just, I couldn't believe it when I watched it. I was so excited to learn more about their childhood, and definitely not what I was expecting. Yeah, it was really cool. The previews for that definitely did not spoil anything. I thought it was spoiling a lot of it, but it wasn't. And it was really, really cool to kind of learn more about them before we kind of got towards the end of the show. And they are just like Dipper and Mabel. They definitely want to explore. They want to be together. They liked being together. So it was definitely nice to learn their history. The moment you've been waiting for, episode 1. Of course, it was the last episode of Gravity Falls on February 15th. That was a tearjerker. It was heartbreaking. It was sad. The summer's over. The kids have to go to school. They have to go back to California. And it was so hard to see them leave, Gravity Falls and just see the show being over. And at the end, you were so hopeful when you saw the, Wendy's see you next summer thing that she made at the end for Dipper. And, it was really, really good episode. They conquered Bill. We almost lost Grunkle Stan, but he came back. And Waddles was definitely an important character in this one, too. Every character was significant. We learned about the officers' relationship that we kind of suspected but didn't know until we got clarification. And it was just a really special episode. And after watching it multiple times, you just feel like this sense of it was time for the show to end, and Alex was ready. And we still want to know all these secrets. We're still trying to break secrets and codes. Even since the show's been over for months, we've all been wanting to learn more and do more. And Alex is slowly putting things out and answering our questions, which is really sad, but it's also really exciting. We get to learn more about these characters and more about their lives. And this episode really wrapped it up nicely. And, it was just an amazing episode. And I'm so glad that we got to experience this journey of Gravity Falls and just everything we went through to solve codes, crack codes, solve mysteries, just working together and making all these amazing online videos, communities, just theories, making theories, getting our theories are actually true, and them being on TV and Alex incorporating them into the show. And it was just so special to have that, that little niche that we could all go and talk things over and not judging each other. I mean, there would be occasionally like, oh, that theory was wrong. But you know what? That's okay. The fact that we all work together to come up with these things, the people who work so hard on the theory videos, it was amazing. And I hope there's another show like this where we can all just come together and talk about it and enjoy it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed Gravity Falls as much as I did, and I hope you like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.